Did you just tell us, did you observe lividity on her body?
Yes,
And what, if anything, did that lividity tell you?
that she died on her back.
Did you observe anything else in the room at the time?
Yes, there was a kitchen towel to the side of the bed. And it had the pink blood tinge sputum on it. And I asked Chad if he had used that towel. He said yes, that he had used that towel to wipe her face.
And you were starting to explain to the jury, Chad gave you an accounting of how he discovered her.
Yes, he said that he felt her body roll off the bed, and that's what awakened him. And um, just because of the rigor mortis, lividity, the coldness of her body, I asked how that was possible if she had been gone that long. And he said it may have been from him pulling on the sheets and releasing her body as it fell. He stated that she was going through menopause and she had hot flashes, and she liked to sleep with her feet outside the covers and on the edge of the bed.
What triggered you to inquire how that is possible, or his account of how the body fell? Why did you question that?
Uh, because if someone's dead, they can't roll out of bed. So I was trying to understand how that woke him up when somebody is dead, they can't move.
Did his explanation make sense to you?
Um, the explanation of maybe him pulling on the sheet or the blanket released her body. But looking back on it, no.
Why, looking back on it, does it not make sense to you?
It would take a lot of force to roll a body out of bed.
So I'll move on. What else, if anything, did Chad tell you at that time about Tammy?
Um, Chad stated that Tammy had been feeling really off for the past few months. He stated that she had told him she felt outside of her body, not normal. Um, he told me that she had been having fainting spells. Um, and one occasion he said they were at the temple and she was kneeling at the altar. And when she went to stand up, she fainted. He said she had extremely low blood pressure, but she did not seek medical attention for that from a doctor. He said she did not like going to the doctor, and she would try to treat everything natural. There was a lot of natural supplements and oils in the kitchen cupboard when we were looking for medications, and also a natural remedy book on her side table in the bedroom.
Did Chad give you any accounting of the timing of the night before and kind of how he perceived Tammy?
Yes, he said about 12:30 she was having a coughing fit and she vomited in the bathroom. He helped her back to bed. She said she was okay, and then he went to sleep.
Did he ever identify for you what time it was that he claimed he was woken up by her falling?
Approximately 12. Oh, her falling out of bed.
Yes.
Uh, I think it was just before 6 a.m. in the morning.
What did you determine the cause of death for Tammy was initially?
I um, I determined it was pulmonary edema
Will you explain that to the jury
due
what
to
that
a
means?
cardiac event. So pulmonary edema is the backup of fluid, blood in the lungs. And where he told me she had low blood pressure and the fainting spells, that can play into that part. And also, I asked about any seizure-like activity because of the foam in the mouth. Chad did tell me that she did have shaking fits when she would faint. So her legs would shake and she would convulse.
Now, as a coroner, do you make a decision about an autopsy based upon a family's wishes?
No.
Is that something you consider, though?
Um, Ultimately, the decision is up to me. If I deem one necessary, then I do it, regardless of family's wishes.
In this instance, did you have a discussion with Chad or with the family about their feelings about an autopsy?
I did mention it. Chad didn't seem to want it or not want it. But Emma was on scene, Chad's daughter, and she uh, really didn't want her mom to have an autopsy. It's pretty extensive, and she didn't want her mom's body to have to go through that.
Now, have you recently made any amendments to the death certificate?
Yes.
And what have you done with that?
The manner of death was caught or was changed to homicide. The cause of death was changed to asphyxiation by suffocation.
Can you explain to the jury why did you make that change?
Um, Tammy's body was exhumed, and a medical examiner from Utah autopsied her body.
I was asking you to please explain what you were observing during the autopsy that helped cause you to change your mind about the cause of death.
Um, as they were dissecting the bruise, it was a very deep bruise on her arm. Um, it didn't make sense that she had thrown up the night before because she still had stomach contents.
I pause you, please.
Yes.
Explain that to the jury, please.
So her stomach was full of food. If she threw up, there wouldn't be food in her stomach during the autopsy.
You'd explained earlier that one of the bases for your original determination was seizures. What did you learn from the autopsy about that factor, or that aspect of Tammy?
All of Tammy's organs were very healthy. There was nothing in the brain. The heart was healthy. The only organ that was not healthy were the lungs. When they were dissected, there was still foam, a lot of foam in the lungs.
You'd explained earlier that one of the bases for your original determination was seizures. What did you learn from the autopsy about that factor, or that aspect of Tammy?
All of Tammy's organs were very healthy. There was nothing in the brain. The heart was healthy. The only organ that was not healthy were the lungs. When they were dissected, there was still foam, a lot of foam in the lungs.
How did that impact your decision to change the death certificate?
There shouldn't have been that foam in the lungs still. It was 2 months before she was exhumed and then autopsy was done.
Is there anything else besides the autopsy that has impacted your decision to change the amended death certificate?
Yes.
What other things?
I received a call from Arizona police. They wanted all of my coroner records. There had been uh, a death in Arizona, and Chad's name was brought up. And there was also an attempt. And when I heard all those names and the investigation that was going on, and then it did change my mind. If I had known that information, it would have been